$5,000 a month? How dare you even show your face? She shrieked. Look at my boss. He pulls in $1 million a year. You're not even worth the dust under his shoe. I quietly knelt to gather the wreckage littering the floor and said with dead calm, I'm filing for divorce tomorrow. She scoffed, a harsh, ugly sound. Without me, you'll be begging on the street by next week. I didn't argue. I simply turned, walked away, and logged into the stock trading account I hadn't touched in 3 years. 1 month later, the headline on every major financial news network screamed, Mystery stock guru Dragon King reappears, sweeps up billions in 3 days, shaking Wall Street. My wife saw me on TV, impeccably dressed in a bespoke suit, and called me like a madwoman. The call connected, but the voice on the other end was cold and unfamiliar. Ms. Davis, our boss, said he doesn't know any homeless people. The family gathering fiasco finally ended, and I returned home. The place Khloe and I had shared for 3 years now felt like a sterile, suffocating cage. I opened the closet in silence and pulled out the suitcase I had packed long ago. Khloe shadowed me, arms crossed, her face a mask of undisguised contempt. What? Can't handle it already? Ethan, which part of what I said wasn't the truth? She snatched a brand new designer shopping bag from the entryway, pulled out the handbag inside, and flaunted it in my face. See this? The latest Chanel, $5,000. A gift from my boss, Mr. Harrison. She tossed the empty bag at my feet. Here, take out the trash. I didn't move, just looked at her steadily. Unnerved by my gaze, she became even sharper and more caustic. What's with that look? Think I'm cheating on you? Ethan, don't flatter yourself. Mr. Harrison and I have a purely professional superior-subordinate relationship. He appreciates my talent and rewarded me for it. Unlike you, a grown man making $5,000 a month, struggling just to keep yourself afloat. I zipped open my suitcase and started tossing in clothes. A few faded t-shirts, 2 pairs of jeans. Khloe snorted with derision. Oh, playing the stoic martyr now? A broke man's every breath is a mistake, didn't you know that? She leaned in, lowering her voice deliberately, so only we could hear. Mr. Harrison also said he's taking me on a business trip to Paris next week. Ethan, what's the farthest you've ever been? That trip last month back to your little town upstate, right? My hand paused on the zipper. Seeing the intended sting, a smug smile spread across her face. I picked up my old, 5- or 6-year-old laptop from the nightstand and tucked it into my carry-on bag. That's all you're taking? Right. A loser like you doesn't own much anyway. Get out. Be at the family court entrance at 9 tomorrow morning. Whoever doesn't show is a son of a bitch. I ignored her, dragging the suitcase toward the door. She shouted behind me. Oh, one more thing. Already drafted the divorce papers. You walk away with nothing. No objections, right? You don't have anything to begin with anyway. The door clicked shut behind me, cutting off her grating voice. I stood in the dark hallway and pulled out my phone. The screen lit up, reflecting my utterly blank face. At 8:50 the next morning, I was precisely on time outside the family court. At 9 on the dot, a brand new BMW 5 Series pulled up to the curb with a flash of arrogance. Khloe slid out of the driver's seat, dark sunglasses on, draped in designer labels. Sorry, traffic was a nightmare. She patted the hood of the car proudly. Mr. Harrison's car. He had an early meeting, so he told me to drive it over. She appraised me from head to toe, as if looking at refuse. See the difference, Ethan? This is it. I didn't say a word and walked inside first. The paperwork process was fast. As she signed, Khloe's pen tip nearly ripped through the page, as if venting 3 years of accumulated marital frustration. I picked up my pen and signed my name calmly, the action feeling no more significant than signing for an unimportant delivery. Stepping out of the family court building, the sky was overcast. Khloe immediately fumbled for her phone, dialing a number with barely concealed eagerness. Mr. Harrison, I'm free. Her voice was sickly sweet, a complete reversal from the harshness she reserved for me. Celebrating tonight? You pick the spot. I'm game for anything. I watched her fawning figure retreat toward the BMW and slipped on the Bluetooth earpiece hidden beneath my collar. The call connected. Boss. On the other end, a sharp, respectful female voice responded. I murmured, Olivia, let's begin. The target, Apocalypse Tech. Khloe hung up and turned when she saw I hadn't left, that familiar look of scorn back on her face. What are you still doing here? You really didn't go out begging, did you? Good luck. Don't starve on the street. With that, she turned, high heels clicking, and sashayed toward the BMW. I watched her walk away. Apocalypse Tech. That was an insignificant little supplier in Mr. Harrison's entire commercial empire. But what she didn't know was that it was the single most fragile domino in his whole structure. And I had just pushed the first one. I didn't go beg. Instead, I took a cab to the most opulent hotel in Midtown Manhattan. When I appeared at the door of the penthouse suite in my faded t-shirt and jeans, carrying my old laptop bag, the doorman gave me a look of bewildered suspicion. The door opened from inside. A woman in a sharp black business suit, radiating competence, stood there and bowed to me with deep respect. "Boss, welcome back." The doorman's jaw dropped. I stepped inside. Olivia took my bag and followed. Beyond the suite's floor-to-ceiling windows, the glittering nighttime skyline of Manhattan spread out, the Empire State Building close enough to touch. This was the world I was familiar with. I walked to the window and looked down at the ceaseless flow of traffic. Olivia connected my laptop to the multi-monitor setup already in place and began her report. "Boss, during your 1,095-day retirement, I managed your passive assets strictly according to your base directives. As of today, your personal net worth has appreciated from $70 billion 3 years ago to $98 billion. A dizzying string of numbers flashed across the screen. I glanced back, my expression completely flat. Money is just a tool. I sat down in front of the display, my fingers dormant for 3 years, gliding back over the keyboard. That familiar sensation shot through me. My blood began to boil anew. "Olivia." "Yes, boss." "Apex Global, Mr. Harrison's company. I want everything on them." "It's already prepared." Olivia handed me a tablet containing a detailed breakdown of Apex Global's equity structure, core businesses, and all affiliated companies. I didn't even look at it before issuing the order. Short every single one of Apex Global's upstream and downstream partners. Start with the weakest link, Apocalypse Tech. I want to create a supply chain panic within 3 days. In 1 week, I want Apex Global stock price to show abnormal volatility. Within 1 month, I want to have. My voice was even, but every word carried irresistible force. Olivia's eyes lit up. "Yes, boss. I've been waiting 3 years for this command." She immediately spun around, moved to the adjacent control station, and began hammering away at the keyboard, sending encrypted instructions rocketing to traders across the globe. Simultaneously, in a high-end steakhouse on the west side, Khloe was delicately slicing her filet mignon, looking at Mr. Harrison with an adoring gaze. "Mr. Harrison, to celebrate my new freedom, let's toast." Harrison absently lifted his glass, but before they could clink, his phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID, and his brow immediately furrowed. "Hello? What?" "The CEO of Apocalypse Tech wants to terminate our contract." "Why?" "We account for 80% of their business." He hung up, his face already turning ugly. Before he could catch his breath, his phone rang again. "What?" "The downstream distributors are saying our supply is unstable and they're cutting orders by 30%. Investigate. Find out who is behind this sabotage." Harrison roared into the phone, causing nearby diners to look over. Khloe's smile froze on her face. "Mr. Harrison, what's wrong?" "Bad luck." Harrison irritably threw his napkin onto the table. "I don't know what link broke. The company is going through a slump." He glanced at the meticulously dressed Khloe, suddenly finding her tiresome. "You eat. I have to get back to the office." He snatched his jacket and hurried out, leaving Khloe alone with a table full of expensive food. Khloe watched his retreating back, a sliver of dissatisfaction surfacing for the first time, but she dared not act out, managing only a forced, pleasing smile as she watched him leave. Back in the penthouse suite, I watched the Apex Global stock chart begin its slight decline, a cold arc forming on my lips. This meal, the appetizer, had just been served. The dragon, dormant for 3 years, would surely stir up a storm upon waking. In just 3 days, the global financial markets sensed something highly unusual. A mysterious and colossal pool of capital, like an invisible giant hand, was executing trades with a speed, precision, and ruthlessness that sent shivers down spines, precisely targeting a dozen seemingly unrelated small to mid-sized companies. The only common thread among these companies was their close business relationship with a single firm in the U.S. called Apex Global. Wall Street traders pulled all-nighters, frantically analyzing the source and motive of this capital flow. This strategy, only attacking the weak points to trigger a chain reaction and force panicked selling. It's too familiar. It's him. The man who single-handedly shorted an entire nation 3 years ago. Is he back? Besides Dragon King, I can't think of anyone else. The financial news headlines exploded instantly. Mysterious capital precisely targeted. Dragon King tactics resurface. The Wall Street Journal, the vanished financial titan poised to unleash another storm. Overnight, the name Dragon King, silent for 3 years, once again sent shockwaves through the entire financial world. Inside the Apex Global offices, the atmosphere was suffocatingly heavy. Khloe sat at her desk, excitedly gossiping with colleagues in the break room. Did you guys hear? That legendary stock god, Dragon King, is apparently back in action. I heard. He's incredible. Apex Global's stock has been tanking lately. They say he's the one doing it. Holding her coffee cup, Khloe had a distinct look of schadenfreude on her face. Yeah, mister. Harrison's face has been blacker than soot these past few days. He chewed everyone out in the morning meeting. She was completely oblivious to the fact that she was intrinsically tied to the epicenter of this storm. She even felt a strange sense of vanity being at the center of the chaos. Meanwhile, in the chairman's office, Mr. Harrison kicked over an expensive mahogany wastebasket and roared into the phone at the board members on the other end. How should I know who it is? I've used every connection I have, and I can't trace anything. The other side is like a ghost. Our firewalls are useless. Just give me time. I will fix this. He slumped into his chair after hanging up, his entire body soaked in a cold sweat. He frantically suspected a business rival was stabbing him in the back but had zero evidence. That fear of the unknown was pushing him to the brink. Just then, the office door opened, and Khloe walked in carrying a cup of coffee. Mr. Harrison, don't overwork yourself. Here, have some coffee and take a break. Her voice was gentle, attempting to play the role of the understanding confidant. Harrison was already furious, and seeing her face only made him more agitated. I'm busy. Can't you see I'm swamped? He roughly shoved Khloe aside. The coffee splashed all over her, the hot liquid eliciting a sharp cry. But what she saw was the undisguised disgust in his eyes. Khloe's heart turned to ice. Was this the brilliant $1,000,000-a-year Mr. Harrison she admired so much? It turned out that in the face of a real crisis, he was just another ordinary man prone to fits of temper. For the first time, she felt the slightest tremor of doubt about her choices. In the penthouse suite, Olivia reported the latest battle update to me. Boss, Apex Global stock is down 15%. Market panic is spreading. I looked out at the city lights and calmly gave the next order. Olivia, release a story. Tell them I'm ready to accept an exclusive interview with one of the nation's top financial news channels. Olivia paused, then understood my intent. Yes, boss. This is to deliver. The killing blow, isn't it? I didn't reply. It was time. Time for certain people to clearly see exactly what she had thrown away. Khloe was shouted home by Mr. Harrison. She still had coffee stains on her clothes and was filled with resentment and frustration. Was this the high branch she'd abandoned Ethan Cole to cling to? It turned out to be nothing special. Annoyed, she turned on the TV, hoping to watch some entertainment to relax. She flicked the remote randomly until it landed on the most authoritative financial channel in the country. On the screen, a sophisticated and elegant host was making an announcement with an almost worshipful tone. 3 years ago, he achieved legendary status in a single battle, then quietly retired, leaving behind countless myths. 3 years later, the king returns, sweeping up billions in 3 days, shaking the global capital market. He is the financial world's most mysterious legend, Mr. Ethan Cole, the Dragon King. Now, let's give the most enthusiastic applause for Dragon King, Mr. Ethan Cole. When the camera cut to the calm, distinguished man sitting composedly in the center of the studio, wearing a custom Tom Ford suit, Khloe's remote control slipped from her hand with a snap, hitting the expensive floor. The face on the screen, it was Ethan. How could it be Ethan? The man she had called a useless failure. The man she swore would be begging on the street without her. How could he be the Dragon King? How could he be sitting there, receiving an exclusive interview from the nation's top financial host? The host asked him, Mr. Cole, everyone is curious. What exactly did you do during the 3 years you were gone? The Ethan on TV smiled faintly at the camera. Khloe once knew that smile well. It was the gentle look he reserved only for her. But now, the smile held only distance and indifference. He said, I experienced what an ordinary life is like. However, the facts prove that it wasn't what I wanted. That sentence burned into Khloe's heart like a white-hot iron. An ordinary life. He meant the 3 years he spent with her. He called those years not what he wanted. Khloe's mind went blank. Then she let out a shriek, frantically grabbing her phone off the sofa. Her fingers shook violently, misdialing several times. Finally, she hit the number she once knew intimately, but now dreaded. The phone rang for a long time. Just as she thought no one would answer, the call connected. Khloe clutched it like a lifeline, screaming hoarsely, "Ethan, is it you? Is it you on TV?" Silence hung on the other end. Then a cold, unfamiliar woman's voice spoke. "Hello, this is Mr. Cole's executive office." It was that woman she had seen at the hotel entrance. Khloe lost control and screamed into the phone. "I don't care what assistant you are. Put Ethan on the phone. I'm Khloe Davis. I'm his wife." "No, ex-wife," she desperately amended in her mind. Another brief silence followed on the line. Then the female voice, speaking in a toneless, almost mechanical rhythm, stated clearly, "Ms. Davis, our boss said. He doesn't know any beggars." Beggars. Those 3 words were what she had spat at Ethan's face in front of everyone at the family gathering. Now, relayed through a strange woman, they were returned to her verbatim. The line was cleanly disconnected. Beep, beep, beep. Khloe collapsed onto the floor, the phone sliding from her grasp. She remembered her triumphant face when she tore up that $5,000 pay stub. She remembered her arrogance when she was showing off the BMW outside the family court. She remembered every single word of humiliation she had hurled at him. Those words now transformed into countless sharp thorns, stabbing her heart from every direction. The tears of regret finally broke the dam. She was wrong. Terribly wrong. Khloe went mad. She began frantically searching for Ethan. She rushed back to the old apartment complex where they used to live, smashing against the door like a lunatic. The door opened, and a strange middle-aged man peered out. "Who are you looking for? Are you crazy or something?" "I'm looking for Ethan. This is my home with Ethan," she babbled incoherently. The man said impatiently, "You have the wrong place. Mr. Cole sold this place to me last week, paid for it all in one go. Get out of here." The door slammed shut with a bang. Her home was gone. She crazily hailed a cab across town to his parents' house upstate. Ethan's father opened the door. Seeing her, the simple warmth on his face instantly turned to frost. "What are you doing here?" "Dad, I was wrong. I came to find Ethan. Please, just let me see him once." Khloe cried, about to drop to her knees. Ethan's father shut the door directly, his voice coming from behind it. "We don't have an in-law like you. Go away. Our family can't afford to be associated with you." She remembered saying the exact same thing when they mocked Ethan at the family gathering. "Ethan, our Davis family is way out of your league." Undeterred, she called all the relatives who had mocked Ethan with her. All she received were cold rejections and undisguised mockery. "Khloe, honey, didn't you say your ex-husband was a loser? Why are you looking for him now? Oh, he's the Dragon King now? We wouldn't dare try to get close to that kind of money." Finally, she called her own parents and tearfully confessed. Her mother immediately laid into her over the phone. "Are you blind? How could you let a golden goose like that slip away? You've disgraced our entire Davis family. What did you tell us? That he'd never amount to anything. And now look, are you happy?" The entire world was now siding with Ethan. She was utterly alone. She tracked down the address of Ethan's new company and camped out downstairs every day without eating or drinking, wandering like a ghost. She had to corner him. She needed to tell him in person that she was sorry, to beg for his forgiveness. Finally, on the afternoon of the 3rd day, she saw a motorcade led by a Rolls-Royce slowly entering the complex. The car door opened, and Ethan stepped out, accompanied by his sharp female assistant, Olivia. "Ethan,